Welcome to Cross the Line Sports. My name is Carlos Smith, and we are back again for another special episode of WNBA Talk with Miss Nicole Oates. Nicole, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm excited. I'm doing well. We getting right down to the final few games of the WNBA season. Almost right here for the playoff
Yeah.
push. So still looking forward to seeing how everything is shaking out. So we got a lot to discuss. I know it's been a few weeks since we last been on, but it's good to be back once again. So we're gonna dive right into it with last night's game. The Dallas Wings pretty much secured the final spot, which we kind of knew last time, with all the
Right.
teams that were so far behind. We already knew like the top eight teams were pretty much already set. We just didn't know where everything was gonna fall. But it's still time for those seeds the teams to still move around for the playoffs. But Nicole, when you look at everything that's set in stone right now and you see the matchups potentially for the first round, like what are your thoughts of potential games for the first round and what are you excited to see?
Um, I was just looking at like where the standings are right now. And no surprise, I will say that I am excited for this Golden State Mystics matchup
Mm,
in the first round. If, everything is what it is now,
hmm
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like, we've seen Las Vegas, New York. We've seen like I guess for everybody right now, it'll be Minnesota versus Dallas,
hmm
Atlanta versus Indiana,
hmm
Golden State versus Washington, and Vegas versus New York. If I feel like we have seen very like a lot of iterations of Las Vegas, New York, so we'll see what that
Yeah.
one looks like. Depending on the Dewanna Bonner situation, because both of them would be candidates for that. I know we'll talk about that probably a little bit more later, but she would move the needle for both of those teams. And both of those
hmm
teams are probably the teams that are struggling the most coming down this stretch. We've kind of talked about their season and the ups and downs that it's had, as we've progressed through it. So
hmm
interesting that those two find each other in the first round of the playoffs. Um, I don't know if Dallas has enough in the tank, especially now that AZ's gone. I'm interested to see how that pans out
I
because
know that I know
Paige
they
has
said
been on a
the
tear.
regular I know they said she was out for the regular season, but is she gone completely or
I honestly, at this point, would assume I haven't heard anything saying that she's working her way back into it.
hmm
Maybe that's dependent on how the first round of the playoffs goes.
right.
I haven't seen, and I could have missed it, but I haven't seen anything that has indicated that she is ready to come back.
Yeah,
Um, and you know, she was a player that kind of came in with an asterisk because of her injury history.
exactly. Yep.
Um, and so I don't know if they feel like they're going to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, if they're going to be interested in her coming back at all. They are worse without her. So it would benefit them to have her come back. But I mean, you want longevity too. So
Right.
it's going to be a tough front office decision, probably.
Yeah. And
And I
normally
don't really know if it matters with Minnesota.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter. But normally, when I think about it, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she's pretty much done for the season because I think she put out a statement. And a lot of times when players put out statements after injury, they pretty much done for the year. So I mean it's not gonna say it's completely ruled out, but if I
Right.
had to bet money on it, I would say that she's done for the year.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too once information started coming out, especially like we said, this is a player that has had an extensive injury history.
Hmm
And so if there's any concern there, I would anticipate them shutting her down, um, especially since they're meeting the Minnesota Lynx in the first round. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So when I look at the standings, the obvious, interesting, probably the most interesting, which it'll be the highest rated first round for this series was going to be Atlanta, Indiana. That's a no-brainer.
Mm.
I think it'll be safe to say they'll have out of all the series, if it was to start today, that'll be the highest rated one out of all the matchups. Outside of that, I will say I think Vegas and New York will still be a for a first round. That's a big matchup. That's something I
It,
would be
it,
interested in seeing as well. I think that one can go down to the wire either way. Um,
yeah. For this Atlanta Indiana matchup, they will 100% get the ratings.
hmm
Um, because that's an exciting matchup, especially for our first round.
Oh
And
yeah.
they've gotten, the meetings have gotten the ratings. Like we have, proof that it draws attention. Um, I am very interested to see if Indiana's defense shows up.
That's the thing. That's been my biggest issue with Indiana's defense all year.
Yeah,
But
and then not the, yeah, yeah, like you
they
said, we,
they just but they can put so much pressure on you because they can score so well. You got to get at least 100 just to be in the game with them. It's just defensively. But on the flip side, something about Atlanta though, they hit and miss with me for whatever reason.
yeah,
They got the talent,
yeah,
but they just for whatever reason they just off sometimes.
yeah. When the season opened, I think we had discussed like who were our favorites for this season, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned Atlanta because I did have high hopes for them, and I know like they're sitting in the fourth, and this is like first road problems. This like the sky is not falling, but
Hmm
they have been kind of disappointing. I think this season.
Right.
I mean, they still found themselves in a very good spot in the playoffs, and they still went down the stretch. But yeah, there's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of question marks that I still don't think we have answers to.
Yeah.
Um, but I could kind of say the same about the Fever. They're sitting in the fifth. Is that an underwhelming season? Kind of,
Yep, I
you know.
agree because
And they
they
still haven't really figured it out on defense. I think they've survived by playing so fast and
hmm
being so efficient. Um, but yeah,
I just think at this point of the season, you are what you are now. So the
yeah,
defense part for Indiana, it won't get better. So now it's just can we just outscore everybody, run and gun? Um, and I don't really think it's a lot of teams that can play at that up tempo pace like them. Maybe Golden State and of course Minnesota. But
the Misfits can. They're all
yeah,
20 years old,
yeah. The
you
thing with
know.
the thing
But
with the Mystics though is as much as I like that team, it was kind of going back to the last show we had. I don't know if they have enough guard play. Like I don't know if they get enough scoring for them from their guards. Outside of Sonya Citron, everybody else is a little shaky for me. Like I like Georgia more when she was in college, but I feel like they need more scoring.
yeah, that's fair. Um,
Cause
but
I
yeah,
know what I'm
just
gonna
as
get
far.
from I know what I'm gonna get from my bigs and Shakira and Kiki, and then you bring Lauren Betts off the bench. Like I know what I'm gonna get from my bigs. It's just the guard play for me is with Washington is the only thing that's my biggest concern. And I know I like Cody McMahon, but she's still a rookie. She come and go sometime. But
Sure,
if Sonya Citron doesn't get him 15 to 20 points, then I feel like they're gonna have a hard time scoring. That's my biggest issue with Washington.
sure, yeah. I definitely think they can keep the pace. I mean, I have questions about their coach going forward too. So,
Yeah.
uh, but that's neither here nor there. They're in the playoffs now, so
hmm
I really don't have high hopes. I don't see the Mystics going deep just because they don't have experience on that team.
No.
Really. I mean, unless they enter the Dewanna Bonner sweepstakes and she chooses them for whatever reason. But
hmm But
um,
yeah, any other matchup though, I think Minnesota they'll get Dallas out of there pretty quick, especially without Fudd.
yeah.
Um, I think Golden State. I think Washington may potentially be able to get one game, maybe, but I think
Okay.
go maybe get one game. I don't know. And then Vegas and New York, I think that series will go to distance, and then I think Atlanta and Indiana will potentially go to distance as well. It'll be interesting to see who could get home court for that first round. But
Hmm.
I don't know. That's a toss up. Atlanta and Indiana. To me that's a must see series as well. I I
Yeah.
I probably would lean more towards Indiana because I think they can just score at such an elite level. But man, the way Angel Reese is playing right now, she's killing right now, especially on the boards. I mean, of course, she's gonna get those rebounds, but I don't know. They just
I
come and
see
go
that.
too much.
They do. I also see this as a, maybe it's just my mind. They're the most evenly matched, I think,
Hmm.
duo in this first round because Atlanta has scorers too.
They
And if
do.
they get hot, samesies, you know, like, and so then it's going to come down to defense.
Hmm.
And to that, I would say that Atlanta probably has the edge there.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't love
but we'll
Atlanta's
see.
bench though. I'm not a big fan of Atlanta's bench. They don't really get a lot of production, and I know Brianna Jones, she's been struggling with injury, but
Yeah.
Medina Okot from South Carolina, she can get him some minutes. I don't know what happened to Pow Pow. It's like she kind of like fell out of the rotation a little bit. Um,
Yeah,
but I don't
I
know
agree. Yeah.
if Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray struggle. I feel like in that series they got to come to play. They got to give you at least 20 each every game for
Yeah.
them to be just to
Sure.
be able to keep up with Indiana. The flip side to it is once
Yeah.
again though, if Caitlin can at least cut down on the turnovers, that's the thing that gets me with her. She's I mean, I know she's a high usage player, but man, she some of those turnovers can hurt them.
Yeah. And she has a streak of getting texts too. So we'll see how
Yeah,
that goes for them in the
yeah,
playoffs.
she does. Yeah,
Um, her being in tech trouble has kind of kept her honest in this home stretch.
yeah.
And really, as soon as she stopped those antics, she started playing better. So maybe there's something
Hmm.
to that. But um, yeah, that'll be a footnote too. Also, like, does this determine whether Kelsey Mitchell tests free agency or not?
That's gonna be interesting to see. But man, I, I, I don't know. I think she likes playing in Indiana, but of course, it's always good to see your test your value to see what's out there. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't hesitate giving her like a max contract in Indiana. Like you said, the question is, does she want to come back to Indiana? Because if not, I think every team in the league will pretty much be, well, maybe not Minnesota, but any other team outside of Minnesota would probably be knocking on the door to get Kelsey Mitchell because she can light it up. So,
Carlos, let me honestly, okay, this is a fan question, not a professional question.
mhm.
If you were Kelsey Mitchell and every team in the league would cut you the same check, are you living in Indiana?
It probably not. I'm probably going somewhere
You know?
where I'm probably going somewhere where it's probably maybe I'll look at a tax-free state. As much as LA sounds good, is the taxes
Yeah, for sure.
will eat it up. So probably Vegas or
Yeah,
but I don't know. Like what other if she were to leave, now that you bring it up, like if she were to leave, like what would you see, her potentially going though? Because I think everybody else is what the top teams are. I don't know.
the Mystics are right there.
That's a good one. That's a good one because they need to score. But I don't know.
They
I don't
sure
know if she
do.
would want to leave. I don't know if she wants to leave Indiana and go to the Mystics though. Maybe I don't know.
I
But
will also
that's a
say,
good
I
one
mean,
though.
maybe this is too much. But Indiana seems like it's a lot to play with right now.
Because
Just
it's
there's
so
a
much.
lot of extra going on right there.
I was gonna say that it's so much surrounding that team. It's like, man, you want to go show up and just play ball, but everything else around surrounding the team is like, man, do you really want to put yourself through that? But I remember when I was in LA though, she seemed like she handled it well because I was at shoot around and I mean, she did an interview with Matter of fact, she did an interview with my guy Nick, and man, she was very professional. She didn't seem like she had an issue
Yeah.
or anything. She answered everything very well, but I know it can be worse, especially in a long season like this and everything that
She
surrounded
is
the
a pro
league.
pro. She is
Yeah.
going to do everything right.
Hmm.
Honestly, she is an amazing person, an amazing player. Like she's just one of those people that every locker room wants and needs to have, quite frankly. She's just showing up, being a professional. She's also
Right.
getting her PhD at the same time, so shout out to
Oh,
her.
that's
But
major. Yeah.
she's not somebody that's gonna be in mess. But that doesn't mean she wants it around her either, you know.
Right.
So
What about,
I don't know.
I feel like New York could use some more scoring as well. New York, but I
Can
can't
use a
see
little
her
bit of
going there.
everything.
I want to say Atlanta, but I think they got enough
It won't be
scoring.
New York for the taxes, I can tell you that.
Yeah, man,
And
I
okay, if
don't think the
anybody,
Aces have enough assets to give up to get her though.
I don't even think the Aces can sign Dewanna Bonner right now if they can. That bank
Yeah,
account is dry.
yeah, it's pretty much yeah.
But let me say that. Let me circle back. If anybody from Indiana is out there watching this, it's the web. I love you. I used to live in Indiana,
Mm.
but the winters are cold, the food's not always seasoned, and we got things to do. If
What
you got
about
money,
what about no? I was gonna say what about Phoenix, but nah,
does Plum stay? Because we don't even know if Plum's gonna stay right now.
that's a good question. You know what though? Well, I was gonna say what about LA? I definitely think it could be a spot in LA, but
It could be. Depends on who they hire as a coach, I would think.
yeah, they got a lot of questions, a lot of question marks in LA right now. Just there's a lot of turmoil. That's why I want to get Nick on so he can have that conversation with us because yeah, I think the most important thing is like how the structure of an organization though, like from top to bottom, it's like, are you gonna go to a situation where you know everything is in place where you can trust the organization to make the right moves. Because I'll be
For
honest,
sure.
a lot of these teams though they make a lot of questionable moves like they don't even make sense. Well, even if it goes to making trades or in the draft, they do a lot of stuff that I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talked about that briefly when LA got rid of their GM. It's
hmm
like, I didn't really see the GM as being the issue there. They brought in the talent.
hmm
They just didn't do anything with it, like meaningful. And now
but
NECA's retired. You guys made NECA retire.
exactly, and she's playing at a high level. Like I was
Yes.
looking at the numbers, I think she was averaging still somewhere around like 16-8. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think when she saw it,
Statistically, she's one of the best players in the WNBA right
yeah.
now. So y'all made NECA retire and her in a prime.
But
Shame on you, LA.
maybe she had something lined up to where they do offer her a position with the organization. Maybe that's something that was in the talks and she's fine with walking away because maybe she's gonna get an opportunity. Because I feel like she's just playing at such a high level. Like, why would she, walk away at this moment in time? So maybe that's up next for her to kind of like be in one of those GM roles or if she wants to coach, maybe
Yeah,
she starts off as an assistant coach. But I don't know. It's a
I am
tough
fully convinced
situation.
that women could join NASA tomorrow and be fine.
Absolutely.
She's kind of been the person at the helm of all of the change the WNBA has seen,
Yep.
positive. So
Hmm.
we already know that she's an incredibly, astute business mind and, a great communicator. She's been that for all of the teams that she's ever been on, and she's definitely been that for the WNBA as long as she's been, the president there. So
Hmm.
uh,
One other
definitely
thing,
looking forward to her. Let's see what she does.
yeah, one other thing before we switch topics though, we see how everything is shaping up right now, but is there a first round matchup that's not set in stone right now that you would like to see outside of like what is if it were to start today?
Um, let's see. I really don't know if I see too many people sliding around. And I don't know if I see the outcomes changing too
Um,
much.
you know what? I don't think
Mm.
I think the first three are locked in because I don't think Vegas
Yeah,
can catch I don't think Vegas can catch Golden State because I don't see Golden State really outside of maybe the New York game. I don't see Golden State dropping another game. And then I think Vegas, I think the Aces are gonna win out. When I look at their schedule, they got 5 games left. They got the Tempo Storm twice. Then you got the Sparks, and then you got the Mercury. So I don't
yeah.
see them. I don't see them losing. I see the Aces winning out. So I think the top three is set in stone, and then it's
Mhm.
Atlanta, Indiana, and New York. I think the 4, 5, and 6 seed may potentially swap. Um, if it
But
was
I mean,
another,
if the fourth and fifth slots, like the teams play each other still, the
yeah, it's
same teams
just
play
home
each other.
court. Yeah,
You're right.
but it could
And that
be.
could be interesting for a change of home court, for sure.
Mhm. But it could be a situation where, because I know Atlanta and New York, they have a game coming up. They're only what? They're 2 games back. They could. Atlanta, depending on how everything shakes out, Atlanta could drop down to 6. I don't know if they will. But if it was another matchup besides what's what we have right now, I think I think Vegas and Atlanta will be a another interesting series. Um, or New York and Indiana will be a good series too. That would be that would be a, a good series to see. Because I think New York recently just beat Indiana as well. So
Good.
that would be another interesting matchup. But I don't know how much more movement we're gonna get though. And
Yeah.
I don't see Dallas sliding in. I think Dallas is gonna be stuck in the 8 seed.
Right.
Um yeah, I don't see Washington moving up either. I don't think they got
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's kind of why I was like, I don't know if I see a different pairing. I kind of see these teams staying where they are.
yeah. I'm looking at oof, the last 3 games for Indiana can be a little dicey. They got the last three, they got the Mystics and then they have Minnesota twice. The big thing with that will be,
Yeah. Yeah. Be a good test for them. If they can
yeah,
get 2 out of 3 of those, then
yeah.
they're going to feel real good going
I
into the
just wonder
playoffs.
if
But yeah,
Minnesota may, I think in Minnesota they'll have everything locked up. So do they play the starters or, so those might be some games where I don't
well,
know.
I'm still going to say that they're going to lose because they can reach into their bench all they want, and Cheryl will still find a way for them to win.
Yeah,
They played without Nafisa for most of the
yeah.
season, and they still made it to the number
Yeah,
one seed.
I feel like she still needs to play too, just to kind of like I know she's had a
She
good
does.
number of games on her belt, but she still needs to play. And Olivia, she's still in the mix for MVP, so I
Yeah.
think it'll be important for her to, play some more games too. I don't think they're gonna rest. So that those last few games for Indiana could decide where they do fall in the seed. And oh man, because if they fell to the 6 seed, then they would end up having to play Vegas in the first round. And that would be I probably would pick Indiana to win that series. Um,
I would. Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah, my feelings of
I just don't think that I don't have enough in the Vegas doesn't have enough of the they don't have depth.
they don't. They
And
don't.
now Leslie Smith is gone. So
Is she got how did they say
there's
how long she was gone?
no.
They
I haven't
gone.
seen anything, but
Yeah, my feelings about Vegas has pretty much been consistent since Kennedy Carter left. Like I always said, I felt like she was the piece to me that was gonna put them over the
Yeah.
top. And now that once they let her go, I didn't see anything. I still don't see much from the bench. And
No.
then Jewel Lord, she comes and goes. Like I have you ever seen a situation where a player that was that talented is just like her role just diminished the way it did? Like it's like I don't know. I know she can play. And she went from averaging like 20 a game all the way down to like what, 7 or 8 now. Like, have you seen a drop off this quick to where it's like, man, it's just like and they gave her
With a player and she's still relatively young too. So
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
yeah. It is definitely a unique situation. Um, I don't know. Because I mean, I don't even know if a change of scenery for her would move the needle. I think that's kind of the role that she plays now,
Yeah, I don't
which
think
is
she has the trade value anymore.
yeah,
Not after the last 2 seasons. And this is gonna be a it puts the Aces in an interesting spot because you remember last season they traded the first round pick, the 2027 first round pick to get Nelissa Smith. So you don't have a first round pick coming up this year in the next season in the next draft. So if you get bounced in the first round, like where do you go? Because okay, you got Asia, you got Jackie, Chelsea, and you locked up Jewel Lloyd. You gave her the deal, a 3-year deal during the offseason. But where do you go with this team if you get bounced early in the playoffs?
yeah,
I
for
don't,
sure.
yeah, I don't know what they do. And the way it looks is like
And
I'm, as much as I love Asia, I think she's the best player in the world. To me, the MVP is still up in the air, but I probably
yeah,
right now is to me it's game by game. I probably would lean a little bit towards her now. Before this Golden State and Minnesota game the other day, I was leaning more a little bit towards Olivia, but now it's kind of like back toward I'm leaning more towards Asia, but I just feel like she has too much on her play. Like she has to be great every single game for them to have a chance. And I don't know. I think
yeah,
I'm out on the Aces right now.
yeah. It's just tough because on one hand, just because a player can give you that production doesn't mean you should put them in that situation. And
Exactly.
I
Yep.
just can't imagine having a talent like Asia Wilson on the team and just year after year after year not really make any meaningful moves.
Yeah.
Like, not to mention you're increasing the risk for injury by asking any player to shoulder that much
Right.
of the work.
And she's 30
So,
now.
like,
She's 30. I mean, she's still young, still has a lot left in the tank. But as you get
right.
older, you're more susceptible to injuries, and you don't want to keep putting that
Mhm.
to put all that on her plate, as she advances in her career. Do you think they've been too loyal to like the core players like the like Asia, and of course you're not gonna let go of Asia or Jackie and Chelsea. You love Chelsea, but do you think they're kind of like too loyal to them or just too relying on them? Because it feels like the rest of the team just around them is just not what it needs to be.
Um, yes and no. Those three that you mentioned are worth whatever Vegas can give them. You know,
Hmm.
like um and then I look across the league and there are teams, even if just by accident, are evaluating and obtaining talent that far like look at Sydney Taylor in Chicago.
Oh,
Chicago
she
had no business
balling.
getting that
She
one. She
balling,
was
yeah.
undrafted. She's amazing, you know? And I'm just like, nobody in the office in Vegas can get some better quality for
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
a lot of money. Like, I don't think that you have to pay a premium for talent in the WNBA. There's players not on rosters right now that should be playing,
I
and then
agree.
you open yourself up to international players, and that's a whole nother conversation, so I just, I think that perhaps is the root of my frustration with Las Vegas. Like, you don't have the money. That's another conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And and so, if you're not going to have the money to go get the name recognition talent, then you have to reach into your scouting bag,
Really do.
you
Yeah.
know? And again, like we could probably name 5 or 6 players right now that aren't on rosters that are better than the players that are on the
Mm-hmm.
rosters right now, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, what are we doing in that department, I guess, is my question. And, put a pin in it because I'm not a professional. I don't know. I don't, run anything for any of these teams, but I just can't, like, I look at other teams doing it, and sometimes they find them by accident. I think Chicago
Mm-hmm.
kind of got lucky.
Yeah,
But
Stephen
also,
Taylor.
somebody had to be astute enough to know, hey, I've done my research on this player. I think she's going to be great. And even if she's okay, that's better than everybody that we have, in contention here. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked out for them. And, we have all of these expansion teams that
Mm-hmm.
are, pulling off of unprotected players. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's players that go on and make a name for themselves on the expansion teams that kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every year at the beginning of the year, we're like, oh no, they cut this player. I really like them. I wish they had got another opportunity. Or, down the stretch, like think of Indiana last year. They were pulling people out of the gym.
Yeah,
They
they
were
were.
literally going
They
down to
were.
Planet Fitness and saying,
They were
like,
working miracles
you
last
got
year.
time today?
Mm-hmm.
And it would work for them. For a long, long time, they made that work. And
Yeah.
so you have the coaching talent, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So what are you doing to help your player? Like if those 3 players are where you want to put your time and your money, that's okay. Honestly, they're
Right.
amazing. Get them help.
Yeah, but you
It
still, like
doesn't
I
have
said,
to be name recognition. Just get them functioning help.
just give them something. Yeah. Now, like I said, now you did make it a good point as far as like, the expansion draft. So they did lose, of course, they lost Kate Martin and then you lost Aaliyah Nye. So those were two pretty good pieces for them that they lost. And that didn't help them, but then it's still you didn't improve your bench though. To me, like I said,
Yeah.
even though they won last year, I feel like even if you win, to me, my rule of thumb is you still can't come back with the same exact team that you had from last season. And to me, they pretty much came back with the same bench and it didn't really improve. So it's like you got by with it last year, but now it's like, okay, now it's starting to really show again. Like I said, you had Kennedy Carter and she was a certified bucket coming off the bench. But I get it. Like it was probably some stuff that we didn't know about that happened. And I respect them for making the decision. Say you, for the betterment of the team, you let her go
Mhm.
because you didn't want to, damage your locker room and everything. So I understand that. But it's like if you let her go, you need somebody else that's gonna come off the bench that's gonna give you that spark. I actually think maybe give Tanaya Latson some more minutes just to see if she can, do something for him because she did lead the nation in college basketball and scoring the year before she came to South Carolina. And I feel like she didn't get a lot of opportunities in LA. And now that you have her, give her some minutes just to see what she can do. But I still don't think it's gonna be enough for them just to get over that hump. I think it's just way too much pressure on Asia. Even if whether she wins MVP or not, I just think it's way too much on her plate. And at this point of the season, it's like, how do you improve your team now? Because it's pretty much you are what you are at this point.
I guess the other side of that coin, I mentioned like the scouting and stuff like that, but like, are they actually developing players?
That's another one. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, a question that needs to be asked, and you know,
Yeah. I
they don't put them on the court very often, so
Nah, they
you
don't.
can only you can only do so much.
They have been using it was a Yam I can't even pronounce her name.
But,
Yamamoto, something like that. She
mhm.
she has been playing. She's been giving them some minutes, but I just still don't.
She
I
can't.
don't
She
see enough.
torched when they played. I think name recognition. They remember her torching them when they played the
Hmm.
team. And she can score at will. Really. I'm not really sure. what's going on there. But
hmm Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The last game, Cheyenne Parker tied. She had 2 points. Jewel Lloyd had 2 points. Tanaya Latson, she only played 3 minutes. She had 1 point, and then Yamamoto, she had nine. So she led the team in scoring. But Jewel Lloyd, 19 minutes, she only gave him 2 points. Like that's not enough for them. And
yeah,
I'm
on
just
any
like,
run for anybody. Um, yeah, I also pulled up there.
because
Yeah,
I'll be honest, if it the way it's looking, if it's shaping up right now, if you'd ask maybe I remember one time we were talking about it a little bit, it was like we kind of like hypothetically said something about New York and Vegas in a potential matchup, and I was leaning towards Vegas because of like the coaching issue, the coaching status with New York and everything. But now I would pick New York in that series too. I think they got
yeah,
enough firepower to beat Vegas in a first round matchup, even though the coaching
definitely have
situation.
more depth.
Yep, they do.
Yeah,
I think my biggest thing with New York is can they stay healthy? Because it's like it's
yep,
always somebody getting banged up for them. Like it's somebody comes back, then somebody else is out, and it's just like now Stewie, she's been great all year, but can if they can
yeah,
stay healthy, even if they're a 5, 6 seed, they can be a dangerous team to play.
yeah. There isn't. I mean, they kind of. I mean, it's not a whiff. I mean, she was injured, but like Sabley's not coming back.
No,
You
she's
know,
not.
Rebecca Allen. This is her last year. She already announced that she was, retiring.
Hmm
Um, But they do have, again, like honestly, New York is an example of kind of what I was just talking about. Like, all right, we lost, Cloud's not coming back. We signed Satu. Our money's distributed differently. New coach. How are we going to kind of like fill some of these holes? And they went and got like Pauline Astier, who has been,
hmm
great
She's
for
been playing well.
them. Went and got, Han Shu is playing for them. She isn't doing crazy, but I mean, 6 points a game is better than two.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Yep.
um, you know, they have Phoebus, who's been great for them,
hmm
but I mean, that's probably a 10 to 12 point a game player. Like, that's what Vegas doesn't need miracle workers. They need somebody that you can put, 8 to 15, if you're lucky, points a game and just give
Just
them,
something. Give them something, man.
let Alicia go sit down. Like, Chelsea Gray's not getting any younger. Let a girl
I
get
agree.
some water mid game or
Exactly.
something. You can't have them on the court all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I
I
just,
don't know.
yeah, I think that's if that's a first round matchup, I think the loser of that series, they got to make some major changes to their roster. Um,
Yeah.
from where they were a couple years ago, playing in the finals from a few years ago till where they are now, it's like they kind of like both of them are kind of like trending on the wrong side of the tracks right now. Even though Vegas won the championship last year, but their roster still is not improving. And you said they're getting a little bit older. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of things they're gonna have to figure out. But speaking of another major move that happened a few days ago was the Phoenix Mercury bought out Dewanna Bonner. And just looking at speaking about the playoffs, do you see a team, with her, being bought out by the Mercury, do you see a team that she could potentially, go help, get over the hump?
Yeah. New York. I would probably be my first thought. Like, they have the money. And Nosatu. So,
Hmm
I mean, if I had to pick one, maybe. I mean, I've also seen Atlanta floated out there. I think it's good. Um, I mean, the Golden State Valkyries would be a good fit, probably.
hmm
But I think they would have to get rid of somebody on their roster. And I don't know if they're
Yeah,
going to do that the second game. Um, and then the Ace, I mean, always, if any player is available, please go to the Aces.
right.
I don't know what they're going to pay you. Literally
Yeah,
anybody. The Aces will always be mentioned in
Hmm.
these anytime a free agent or whatever hits the market. But I don't. Does she accept Monopoly money? Because that's
Right.
what the Aces have to play her with.
Hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, I honestly say if I had to pick one, it'd probably be New York right now.
I think it just depends on, you know, defining her role and like what she really wants. Does she really want to compete for a championship or does she want to just play minutes? Because I feel like I always felt like the Mystics could use some more scoring. But
They definitely can.
I don't know
And
if she
yeah,
I don't know if she fits with that young roster though. That's the only thing. Like, does she want to be in a young roster like that? Because even if she does go there, I don't see them getting out of the first round. Not against Golden State or not against Minnesota.
I'm sure. Of course, we'll never know. But I remember when we saw her last year on in Indiana.
Hmm.
She signed there, and we were like, "Oh, I'm not sure where she fit, but anybody can use a Dewanna Bonner." And I feel like it was that, I mean, I'm sure there were other factors, but one of them probably was the fit there because
Hmm.
so many of the players are younger. And I don't think she would have the same experience with the Mystics. They seem like a differently formulated team, but
Yeah.
I do see her not fitting in with that team for that reason as well. And also, like, is this Dewanna Bonner's last hurrah? Is that why she wanted to be, bought out to pursue this? And if that's the case, I don't know if the Mystics are the team for her either
Right.
because they're so young. They don't have any experience. Like, she would be the most experienced player on the team instantly.
Exactly. Hmm.
So, and
I
is it what she's looking for? I don't know.
I would say if Nalissa Smith is out, the
Yeah.
Aces, like I said, I'm not a fan of that bench at all. So the Aces would be an obvious one. I think Atlanta could use her as well, just to give them some minutes, maybe some more score. Those would be the only two teams that I really see. I don't think Golden State or Minnesota, they're gonna mess with their rotation. Indiana, we saw that last year, it didn't work out. I just didn't feel like she fit with that more so that up and down pace with Indiana, especially at this point in stage in her career. I didn't see that was a think that was a good fit. New York could be an interesting
Right.
one as well. But out of those three though, I would say Vegas, Atlanta, and then like you said, New York will be a team that she could potentially you go to as well.
I don't, I'd have to do the research on this, but if Nalissa is out, maybe that does open the door for Bonner to go there because can they apply for injury hardship
Hmm.
situation and allow her to join? Maybe,
Yep.
but that would be maybe the only way, unfortunately, that I would see her being able to join the Aces.
Would you would you move Asia to the five and put her at the four, or would you just simply just bring her off the bench?
I imagine this late in the game, I'd have to bring her off the bench regardless. She's,
Yeah.
I mean, she's been around the league a long time. It's not like there's a steep learning curve, but
Yeah.
it is a new team,
Yeah.
So,
I think she would have more of a green light if she came off the bench.
yeah,
And I
I
think
agree.
you probably bring what would you if Melissa is out, do you put Cheyenne Parker Tyus in the starting lineup? Or do you try to play a little bit more small
That's fine.
ball and put AJ at the five still? But I don't know. I just think you have to put her. I would probably bring out the bench. I just need some kind of firepower coming off my bench. If
Yeah.
she can give me 8 points, then that's something. Because right now I just don't see
Yeah.
it, in their rotation. So maybe the Aces are a potential suitor for DeWanna Bonner, but they they don't have a lot of options right now though. And unfortunately, like I said, with the way things are shaking up, I think it's gonna be this one might be a early exit for the Aces if
Yeah. Well, going back to, we started with the playoff standing. If the standings don't change and Vegas
Mhm.
and the Liberty do meet each other in that first round. And New York goes in there having added Bonner to the roster. Well, I don't think she moves anybody significantly. She's averaging 10 points this season. You know, she has value
Mhm.
in multiple ways on the, you know, even when she isn't scoring, um, you know, even still. And so I would definitely say that would move the needle a little for the
Yeah,
Liberty match with Vegas.
I think for the Aces, they should hope a miracle happens in some kind of way. New York falls to 7 and Washington falls to 6. That will be one of the best case scenario for the Aces. But
Yeah,
if it stays this
yeah.
way, I don't see them being New York. I don't see them being Indiana. I would probably pick them to beat Atlanta. I would pick them to beat Atlanta, but other than that, uh, just hope and pray you can get the misses to fall to 6. But I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think 7 and 8 might change wherever they fall, but I think it's highly possible that they gonna play either New York or Indiana in that. But you know what though, and Vegas and Atlanta they could swap. They're both, they right there.
Yeah.
Atlanta's only half a game behind, but
Honestly, I think Vegas has a better chance of routing the Liberty than they do with the Fever. I don't think they have enough gas in the tank to keep up with the pace of play of the Fever for a
no,
whole
me either.
series.
No, they can't. They don't
Like,
have
forget
enough
the scoring. I just don't think they are going to get up and down the court with them like that.
because I don't see anybody who's gonna stop Kelsey Mitchell, and that's a lot of pressure on Jackie because for one, you had to defend Kelsey, and then on top of that, you still got to go out and try to give him at least another 20 on the offensive end. That's a lot to ask for because just guarding Kelsey Mitchell is gonna be a handful already. Whether she's guarding Kelsey or
Exactly.
Caitlin, that's a lot to ask for. And
Yeah. And they have depth. So,
mhm.
you know,
And they'll run that whole series. So more so than the Liberty will be a better matchup for them just because of the pace of the series. But
sure.
I don't see it really going too far though.
Which is
Let's
an interesting conversation because New York's an aging team too.
exactly. That's
Like,
why I said they can. I would say best case scenario is the hope for the Mystics, but if it was a matchup that could kind of more so fit them, would be New York or some kind of way they can slide, things shake up and they play Atlanta. I can understand that as well, but I just think it's gonna be a bad matchup if they run into Indiana and New York is still gonna be the team. Like if they do, run into each other, uh, I'm still gonna go on New York over the Aces in the first round if that shapes up. But let's switch over to our list. I was sitting there watching the game the other day, watching the Mystics. I mean not the Mystics. I was watching Minnesota and the Valkyries. And I just made a list that I sent you just for fun about top 10 WNBA players. So I'll read it for people watching this. So the top 10, number one, I had Asia, of course. Number two, I had Nafisa Collier. Three, I had Olivia Miles. Four, Brianna Stewart. Five, Caitlin Clark. Six, Jackie Young. Seven, Kelsey Mitchell. Eight, Alyssa Thomas. At nine, Paige Beckers. And then I had 10, I had Alicia Gray. So, Nicole, when you saw the list, I know this was pretty much just strictly just, and you asked me the criteria. I was saying pretty much just best players in the league. Just that's it.
yeah,
When you saw
that's
my
what we
list,
like right now.
what was your overall thoughts of like this top 10 list? And then you can read yours as well.
Yeah, I could make a case for your list for sure. You know, we're in a time in the WNBA where there's not just 10 good players. And
Right,
so
right.
I think, you know, especially once you get past the back half of a list, you know, the names will look different. I know I have a lot of the same players on my list, in a
Hmm.
different order perhaps, but um, yeah, I wouldn't take anyone off your list necessarily. Um, I feel the same way about my list. Like if you're like, especially in the back half, if you're like, oh, I don't know if I would have them there, I'd
Hmm.
probably be fine with whoever you had,
Hmm.
So
Right.
there's a lot of parity in that respect. But yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. Love, I think Olivia was in the top five on both of ours, so love that
Hmm.
for the rookie.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I almost put her second, but I was like, you know what?
okay,
Nafisa, to me, she's still it. Like, she can post up, she can score from the inside, outside. She's gonna defend.
yeah,
I was just like, man, she's still, to me, when I watched her up close, I was like, she's still, you know, the second best player in the league to me. But I almost went for the longest. I was like, man, you know what? Olivia, I was like, she's top five player to me. Just watching her over the whole season, I was like, yeah, she got it. I didn't know where I was gonna put her in that top five, but I was like, man, it's hard to, even though she's a rookie, it's
hang
hard
in
to
there.
deny her as being a top five player in the league. Um, but I had to settle. I was fine with putting her just for now as the third best player to me right now. Um,
Yeah,
a couple of names that I wanted to put in. Well, I'll let you read your list as well, and then I'll tell you a couple of the names that
sure.
I left off that I really was leaning towards putting on.
It's my list. I know you've kind of like pre-seen it. There might be
Yeah.
some controversy, but we'll see. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna, not from you, but in general, I was like, I
Hmm.
feel kind of like a couple of these, I get some pushback on it.
Hmm.
That's fine. Um, number one, I had Asia. Uh, two, I put Brianna Stewart.
Okay.
Three is where I put Nafisa. Um, four is where I put Olivia Miles. Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, Paige, Jackie Young, and then for the last two, I put Shakira Austin and Kelsey Plum.
Mm. I was gonna let me see if I can. Okay, I'm pulling your list up now. Um, just curious, what made you go? Couple of questions. So what made you go Stewie over Nafisa? I'm not knocking it at all. I was just wondering, like, for you, what makes you go Stewie over Nafisa?
Yeah, I think that I could have easily switched them. I
Hmm.
mean, if we're just going off of the season, it's just, availability and that
I got you.
Stewie has drugged New York across the
Hmm.
finish line. Um, both of them, again, this is a situation where like these are first world problems. I mean, you have
Hmm.
both of them are 20 plus point per game players. Both of them are elite, two-way players, defensive player of the year, multiple MVP, multiple championship. Like I think it's just that one. If this list was like, oh, who are the best players in the WNBA right now? It's like a little chink for, in the armor for Fee just because she wasn't available for most of the season.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I went back and forth on that, and I could easily flop them, and I would be fine with that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
I
knocking that at all. Like I totally
you can
get where
see
you're
where
coming
they're
from. Cause
playing right now. That's how I ranked it.
Stewie's been great all year.
Yeah,
All year long.
and then again, like just recency bias, perhaps, but
Hmm.
if this is a 2026 list, that's just how I put
And
it.
I was
And that's no fault or no knock at all to feed. Just the availability is a
right.
little, dent in the
I
armor.
I wanted to put for a second, I almost say, you know what, I'm gonna put Kelsey Mitchell over Caitlin, but I was like,
I did. I
I know
did
you
that.
did, yeah. I was just like, you know what, I think she's a better scorer, but when as far the other aspect of it, as far as like facilitating the basketball, I think that's what really made me put Caitlin over Kelsey. But other than that, man, Kelsey Mitchell, man, she's special. Man, she is
Kelsey,
a real deal.
I mean, right now Kelsey is like this year, Kelsey is a more efficient and
Hmm.
just PPG a better scorer than Caitlin. I mean, not by much, but if we're going off of stats, she would have. I think it's like almost 20 24, 25 points a game for
Oh, she
Kelsey and
killing.
22 for
Yeah.
Caitlin. We're not reinvent, like, it isn't a big margin. I'm not going to make it out to be that way.
Hmm.
But if we're looking at these two players holistically, Kelsey would get the nod for points. I think Caitlin's court vision is probably some of the best in the WNBA. Even when she's
Hmm.
not scoring, she provides that for her team. I don't have to worry about turnovers as much with Kelsey Mitchell.
That's true
And
too.
I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about, she isn't a great defender, but I don't have to worry about her quitting.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
is why, honestly, and that's why she's just unproblematic.
Yeah.
Like,
That is my only thing with Caitlin, though.
um,
I would like to see her not complain as much when she doesn't get called and just play ball. But yeah,
yeah.
she.
And that's the reason I have them in the order that I
Hmm.
have them, this season. So, um, yeah, I mean, Kelsey Mitchell has she's on like a 17, 18 game streak where she's
Hmm.
had 20 points.
Hmm.
That's
I
so,
think we pretty much have, besides the last two slots, we pretty much have the same players. And I see you got Paige over Jackie. That's
hmm
interesting. I think
yeah,
Paige is great as well. I think I put Jackie number 7 on my list. Let me make sure.
yeah,
No, Jackie is 6 on my list behind Caitlin. And that was mainly just
okay,
because, just being a two-way player. I don't think she's a better scorer than like on your list, like you have Kelsey Mitchell at 5. I don't think she's a better scorer. I just think the responsibility she has for the Aces is just so great. Like having to play on both
yeah,
ends. It was it was hard for me to leave her. Well, I mean, she's not in my top 5. She's right outside of it at 6. But man, Jackie is that responsibility she has is man just so great. But
mhm.
I have Paige at 9 on my list. Um,
Yeah,
you have somebody
yeah.
on
I think
here.
they're kind of wonky after five. Like, it's a toss up.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
toss up. Yeah, you have somebody on your list that I thought about putting on mine. And that was Kelsey Plum. It was
yeah.
it really was between her and Alicia Gray, and I just
Don't
put
dislike
Alicia
that either.
Gray.
At least you belong for.
Mhm. I just think, man, Alicia Gray. And you know what? Honestly, what it probably came down to for me is like I just got to take the bigger guard in this
Okay.
situation because I never forget when I was in LA last season. And I watched the number that they did on Celts. It was like, man, they just locked her down. Like when Ryan Howard and
Yeah,
Alicia Gray were on the perimeter, man, she had a hard time scoring against them. Even though we know she can score, like Kelsey can score, it was like, man, they really did a number on her in that game. When Atlanta came out to LA, but
yeah,
it was a toss up for me with that one. So I kind of just lean more towards Alicia in that situation in that instance.
yeah. I mean, again, I could make a case for her being on a top 10 too. She's an
Hmm.
amazing player. I mean, I know you and I have talked about it. I think I've mentioned it on here before. Like, Kelsey Plum is probably one of my favorite players in the
Oh, she's
WNBA.
amazing. She's
Um,
amazing.
so I feel like she can pretty much do it all. She's a great teammate. Then,
Hmm.
like, the motor, I don't think she ages. That motor just she keeps going,
She can
like,
light
she
it up.
never gets tired in the game. Um,
Now she's not the
and
greatest
again,
defender, but that
yeah,
offensive
yeah,
end, man,
she's
she can.
yeah. I will say I wouldn't blame anybody for leaving her off a 2026 list necessarily for the same reason that I, bumped Fee down a spot. She just hasn't been available,
Yeah.
and so
Hmm.
if I had left her off and put somebody else on, then that's probably the case I would have made. Like, she just hasn't been available, so I left her off. But I decided to be controversial
Yeah.
and put her on there. Go
Yeah.
ahead on other players.
And I just had to put Alyssa Thomas on there, even though they're not having a great season. It's just like the all around everything she does, the scoring, rebounding, and sit and facilitating the ball. I was like, man, it's just
Yeah.
hard to leave somebody off the list like that, though. So I had to put it in my top 10. There's another player that I thought about, and I'm gonna see what you think. For your list, you had Shakira Austin at 9. I think
Mhm.
that's a great pick, but another player that's not on neither one of our lists, I thought about putting Aaliyah Boston on there as well. Do you
Okay.
think
Yeah.
Shakira's a better player than Aaliyah Boston?
Resume wise, like career long, no. I think Shakira's just playing it at
A
such a
better
high
level.
level. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the same reason I left Reese off this instead of
Yeah.
Shakira. You know, like you can make a case for Angel Reese being on here. You can definitely make a case for, you know, Alyssa Thomas. Like to me, that would have been the hardest omission. I
Yeah.
think, you know, her defense and versatility, like she could be a top 10 for sure. Just
Yeah.
her 20, like Austin's 2026 production has just been
Yeah. It has. Yeah.
wild.
That Aaliyah Boston was that, like I said, that 10 spot for me. Like I said, I thought about Kelsey and I thought about Aaliyah Boston too. I was like, man, because although they don't play great defense in Indiana, she's a big part of that team. Like they can't win the championship without her. Like she's really
For
like
sure.
that anchor for them, man. I was like, man,
Yeah.
and I wanted to put her on my list, but I was like, man, I couldn't see how I was
One
gonna
of the team
take off.
spots.
I couldn't see how I was gonna take off Alyssa Thomas. I like Paige, man. Man, I like Paige a
Yeah.
lot. I had Paige at 9, and then, like I said, you can go Alicia Gray, Boston.
Sabrina's not even on our list. Like we
Nah,
could
she's
keep
not.
naming, like, like,
Yeah,
yeah. So, um,
she been kind of banged up this year too. Sabrina had.
yes, we have. I mean, if this is a strictly 2026 list, we could make a case for NECA. We
Hmm.
can make a case for Ryan Howard,
Yeah, Ryan
like,
Howard's another one. Yeah,
so yeah, I mean, truly, this could turn into a top 20 list very
yeah.
quickly, and all of them, there'd be a lot of interchangeable pieces,
Hmm.
especially once we get past the top five.
Yeah,
Um,
it really gets, but it's a good thing though because that lets you know how good the league really is. Like it's a lot of great women players in the league, so that's a good thing to have. So like on any team, that lets you know whatever team you watch, it's talent on all of them. No, the teams may not have as great a season, but it's a lot of players, that you can go down on these rosters and see. Um, and Toronto has a few players that's maybe not top 10, but at least close to 15, definitely in the top 20. You got Sykes, you got Marina May. I like Mabry. I like
mhm,
Marina Mabry a lot. It just
sure, yeah,
I feel like next season might be a whole lot better season for them when they get healthy, stay healthy, and then you add Anissa Morrow to that roster, and then depending what they do in free agency and in the draft, I think that team will have a bright future. But like I said, I like Mabry a whole lot. Maybe her and Sykes, you can see them as potentially top 15, 20 players in the league, somewhere around there.
for sure,
But
yeah. I mean, Sykes for sure. She was. I mean, Mabry's been good on every team that she's been on.
hmm
Um, Sykes was. I don't. I wonder what the Mystics feel like in hindsight, letting Sykes go. But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
um,
like, man, she would be perfect for them just because of the way she can score the ball. Like,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I don't really understand like what some of the teams in the league like why make those moves? Like what are you seeing that's like and you were really last season on the cusp of making the playoffs again, and you just say,
yeah,
you know what,
yeah, they
we're
could
gonna
have.
we're gonna move this player. And I'm just like, what sense did that make? Like, what are you trying to prove? Like, I don't know about that one. That's a head scratcher for me right there with the Mystics because they could have been sitting real nice right now, with Sykes with the team that they have, man. But
Yeah,
we'll never know. But I think Nicole, you definitely had a good list. It was just something I thought about would be fun, just name our list, see who we had as far as
yeah,
like our top 10 players. But you can't go wrong with either one of them. Before we get out of here though, Nicole, we're gonna
yeah,
make some more game picks. Um, I gotta give you your props. We did some game picks the last time we were on. We picked 3 games. We picked Vegas and Atlanta. You picked Vegas. I took Atlanta in that one, and then they lost. So that was one for you. And then we did the Mystics and Wings. I picked the Mystics, you picked the Wings, and the Mystics won that game. And then I picked against Vegas again. It was Vegas and the Fever, and Vegas won that game as well. So it was like you had me 2-1 on that one. But the Aces, they had a tough stretch, and I was like, man, this is gonna be real hard for them. And they came out on top. They did pretty well in it. So on that one, I got to give you the nod. You 2-1. You picked those games correctly. So I got a few more. Um, Really, it wasn't that many big meaningful games coming out, but I just try to pick a few to see how everything is going on, shake out. I know it looks like they got like a little small break coming up soon too, for whatever reason. Uh, when I was looking at the
A few.
schedule. I think after Sunday is like the
Yeah.
teams something's going on where they got like a small layoff or something. Um yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's the stuff for FIBA, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
That's
so
probably what you're looking at.
after Sunday is no more games until Thursday, September the 17th. So they
Hmm.
got a couple of weeks off. But I picked a few games, try to find a few games, some meaningful games. So tomorrow night we have the Valkyrie and the Liberty. That's one. I'll let you who you got for that one.
Probably the Valkyries, but the Liberty, it's go time. They need to start stringing some of these together.
So you take in the Liberty?
I'll take Golden. I'll take no. I'll take Golden State.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking the Liberty on that one. Uh like you said, it's go time for them.
Yeah.
I just think, they did have a big win against Indiana recently. I think, like I said, health is their biggest issue. If they can stay
Yeah.
healthy, they're gonna be fine. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can keep up with the tempo of Golden State. But I'm gonna take the Liberty in that game. So that's one game. Next, another game tomorrow night. It's not really a meaningful game for one of the teams. We got the Mystics and the Mercury. Who you like in that game?
I'll go if the Mystics play everybody. I would go with the Mystics.
Yeah, that's you know what? I think not to try to be different, but I'm gonna be different on this one. If Phoenix plays everybody, Kelsey, Kalia Copper, Alyssa Thomas, I know they're not gonna make the playoffs, but I'll take the Mercury in that game. I'm gonna take so you have
I don't know. I mean, Kelsey isn't wired this way, but I don't know if I'm playing another game if I'm Kelsey.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I think with her
I'm
just
on a rent and I'm trying to get healthy. I got
yeah,
free agency to make some money.
yeah. Because I
I
think,
don't know.
yeah, that's a tough situation for her to be in, especially when man, Phoenix, like you trade for her and you don't know if she gonna sign the extension and stay there. That's a tough situation to be in. But man, if
And then they let Bonner walk, which I mean, classy move for Phoenix, the front
mhm.
office. Like they did Dewanna Bonner
They did
a
a
solid
solid,
there.
yeah.
Good for them
I'm
because you
I,
don't always see like teams go for players like that.
not at all, but I'm gonna take the Mercury in that game. So you got Mystics, I'll take the Mercury. We on opposite sides on that game. Saturday we have Chicago and New York. In that game, who do you like?
New York.
Yeah,
Although the Sky has been trying to string some stuff together, but
yeah.
so
I'm right there with you on that one. We're both on board for New York in that game. And then Sunday, this is gonna be a big game. Really interesting. We have Lynx in Atlanta. I think they're playing in Atlanta too.
um, barring like if everybody plays for both teams, I would say Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going Minnesota. I mean, I'm pretty sure they got everything locked up as far as um having let's see, having everything pretty much locked up. I'm gonna still go Minnesota just because I think the MVP is still on the line.
Hmm, sure. Give Olivia some more minutes.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna so I'll go with I'm gonna go Minnesota in that game as well because I think MVP is still on the line. Like I said, for me now, it's I had Asia for the longest, and then I look at me. I always say I value winning, and where everything is right now, I still think the Aces are gonna win out. They'll still be a top three seed in the league, which is good enough for me. Olivia Miles, I gave her a slight lead right before the Golden State game, and then she had the bad game where she only had like 8 points. It's kind of like I hate the nitpick, but it's just all to me like now it's just game by game. So now I lean a little bit more towards Asia again, and but Asia has to be great every night. It's gonna be hard for me to see her a way for Olivia kind of like take MVP unless something just crazy happens. But still on the line. I'm going Minnesota for Sunday game. So we only differed on two games, which would be Golden State and New York, which is tomorrow night. You took Golden State, I got New York, and Mystics, Mercury. You took the Mystics, I took the Mercury. So other than that, we was both the same on the Liberty and Sky, and then the Lynx and the Dream. So um it's gonna be interesting how that shakes up the before they take the small break. But I'm next episode, I'm gonna try my best to see if I can get my guy Nick on. I'm gonna give him a phone call to see if he can come on and talk about everything that's going on with the Sparks. And I know you ask him some great questions as well because they got a
Sure.
lot
Yeah.
going. It's gonna be real interesting to see what the stuff that they got going on over in LA, man. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on with us and have a good discussion. Real quick before we get out of here, who, if you had to say right now, I know it's kind of like show by show now, like MVP, who is your MVP right now? Just at this given moment.
Still Asia, but the margin is narrowing
Right.
quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm going Asia just for the moment. But like I said, it's been Olivia. She really closed that gap. And like I said, I value winning, but I,
Yep.
that one game for me, that bad game, which I know everybody's gonna have a bad game, but it was I think there's gonna be a
Well,
wake up call.
that's what made your decision last year between Fee and Asia. You know,
Yeah.
they played each other and Fee kind of laid an egg. So,
Yeah, oh yeah,
um,
man. And it
you
was
know,
watching that
it
game
mattered.
up close. It was just so surreal. Just looking back on that moment because I never forget Nicole. I landed in Vegas and I was at the shoot around that morning and I could just see how locked in Asia was. Like I think I who did I interview that early that day? Was it I did an interview with it might have been Aaliyah. Nah. I think I interviewed Aaliyah. No, I interviewed Aaliyah before the game. It was yeah, I can't remember who it was. I interviewed one of the players before, or it might have been Coach Becky I interviewed, but I could just see how locked in Asia was. It was like she was just so serious, just like walking around because it felt like she knew MVP was riding on that game. And that night, man, she just took Minnesota apart. And I think she 31 and 11, 31 and 12. I think Nafisa might have had maybe 12 points or something. Like she clearly let you know like she was the best player in the league in the world. But just looking back on it, it's like man, it really came down to that last game, and I think this is gonna come down to the wire again. I don't think they have another matchup, to close out the season. But this MVP race is super super close. I just wonder if that narrative of like uh having another rookie be league MVP, is that gonna play a part of it? Because everybody loves storylines. That's what sells. So will that play
There's
a
room
role
for
in
it.
it?
People wouldn't have blinked an eye if Caitlin Clark had won MVP her rookie year. There
Yeah,
is room. People were
Mhm.
okay with the idea. There is room for a rookie to be an MVP. And it's like you and I have said it even when we talk about it with like winning fatigue. But if somebody deserves it, they deserve it. Who cares if
Exactly.
they're a rookie or,
That's
like,
that's what I worry about with Asia too, is because man, another MVP, 5 MVPs and you're 30 years old. That's great. Man, it's phew. I just wonder if
I
they're gonna be like,
do I do love the idea that you have Asia and you have another Lynx player in the final
Yep,
two MVP.
it's so crazy. Yep.
Yep.
Coming down to another one. Yeah, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's another. This time it's Olivia. Can she do it? It's gonna be interesting to see, man. I just hope it's not a
Well,
situation where it's just like they don't give it to her because of fatigue, man. But you know how it is. Like we live in a society, it's like we root for underdogs, and then once you become successful and you start winning, you get all these awards, then we hate winners for whatever reason. We just can't wait to
yeah.
see somebody else win or whatever. Same thing with the Patriots and Tom Brady. People are tired of seeing them. But I'm like I said, I'm on the mindset. If I'm the best, give me every award that I earn. If I earned it, just
Yeah.
give me my award. So it's gonna be interesting to see though. We still got a few games to go, but to me, it's definitely down to those two, Olivia Miles and Asia
Yeah,
Wilson for
that's
MVP. Yep.
yeah, I
But
think so.
yeah. But Nicole, thank you again for another great episode. Before we get out of here, can you tell everybody how to find you?
Yeah, just Nicole Oltz on pretty much all social media platforms. It's NicoleOltz.
All right. And thank you guys again for another episode, for tuning in for another episode of Cross the Line Sports. So till next time, keep chasing dreams. Thank you for listening.